Julian here, Julian Crozel. We're downtown Portland, Oregon right now. We've been filming Homeless all day, just trying to understand the community and culture out here, learn about people's lives and their hardships, and ultimately gather information for you guys to learn about the people of Portland, Oregon, and what they have to go through on a daily basis, and learn a little bit about their lives, their past, their futures, a little history, some insightful questions we may ask, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We may ask about the ass. I don't even know if he's got a mustache, if they run fast, 100-meter dash. But hopefully at the end of the day, we give them out a little cash and, make them smile, make their time worthwhile. I don't even know, and we dance in style. Hey, that's it, that's right. And then Julian K with the mic. Hey, we out, baby. What's your name?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hey, I'm Julian. How you doing? What are the most common drugs people are doing out here? Like, what's going on right now? That's correct. Okay. Also, how old are you? Oh, 48. 48. Good to hear. What are you drinking on today? Oh, you got a Pepsi over there? Pepsi. Nice. What you smoking on? Oh, Fent? Crack? Okay, I like that. Good answer. He's not smoking crack? What's he smoking on? He ain't smoking on that gas pack, though? I mean, Portland's got that loud out here, on God. Y'all smoke that za? Like the weed? What do you miss most about your childhood?
My childhood girlfriends, my dog, my parents, my grandparents, and just growing up out in the country. We'd go ride our horses. We didn't have Nintendo or any of these video games. Unless it was a major downpour, we were outside.
What are like some of the most traumatic experiences you had to face out here? Sad stories, just awful things that happened in your life.
Well, in my life or out here? In my life, I married my ex-wife. That was the most horrible thing I could have ever done.
What was the worst part about that relationship?
She was a full-blooded German, and her dad was in Hitler's youth group, and they had a picture of Hitler above their bed, and that should have been a red flag for me to run, run, Forrest, run. But I did, and I married her. I was together with her for 12 years, and the first 8 years were great, but the last 4 years were just absolute hell. I'd rather have my nuts put in a vice.
I like that Forrest Gump reference.
Yeah.
You like that movie?
It's all right, yeah. It's fun.
So, at night, what do you think about before you go to bed? Like, what are some things that goes through your brain? Do you think about the next day, the future, the past?
All the above. I regret, stuff that I should have did, that I didn't, as far as like investing money and paying attention. My grandparents were telling me, John, put money away. And I never did, because I didn't think I was going to make it to 62.
So you didn't invest in that?
No, I didn't.
You regret that?
No.
If you were to invest, what would you invest in? The stock market?
Real estate.
Real estate, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't really ever go wrong with real estate.
Yeah, definitely. Because house property goes up everywhere, so that's a good asset to have in. Do you have any kids?
I do. We lost our oldest boy to a drug overdose back in 2006, and then I still have my youngest one, and he's over in Boise, Idaho, and he's actually doing really well. And they just had my first granddaughter.
How did losing your oldest son to a drug overdose affect you?
It affected me. It took all the wind out of my sails, and I don't really give a shit about anything. That's probably why I'm out here. And he was a damn good friend. He was my son, and I found him. I delivered him. I delivered both my boys, and then I found him in the hotel room, dead. And so that just did. I was really bad. I was drinking a gallon a day of rum, 100 proof rum, for like 5-6 years.
A gallon a day?
Yeah.
Of rum?
Rum, 100 proof.
100 proof, so that's 50%.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rum.
I got a call one Sunday from my doctor, and he said, "Hey, can you meet me at this restaurant?" And I said, "Sure." And I didn't take into the fact that my roommate had taken all the keys to every vehicle on the place, and so I really had no way to get there. And it was like, "Oh, I've got my YZ 125 in the garage, or in the barn. I'll go get that." And so I raced down the highway and got there, and come to find out this guy that was with me was a psychiatrist. The gentleman saw me 7 days a week for 2 or 3 hours a day for probably 6 months, and then we started tapering down. But the guy never charged me a dime, and he never billed my insurance company. And so that really touched my heart, man, for somebody to do that. It was pretty impressive.
Okay, last question here. I don't want to hold you all day. I appreciate you. But what are you looking forward to in the future? What are your goals in life? What are some things you haven't accomplished yet that you want to accomplish?
Find a good woman, be married. It's too late for me, man, because I probably only have another 10 years in me, and that's it. So it's too late for me to do start over or whatever they say. I don't know. I'm just day to day and visiting with my friends. Take every chance that you get, and enjoy every sandwich because it could be your last. So make the most out of it. Don't. If I did this, I could just do it, man. Jump in feet first and just go for it. Hit the ground running on everything you do. Any endeavor that you're involved with, just go 100%, and it'll work out for you. If you worry about what other people think, you're never going to do anything. You're just going to sit there and make sure that you're, above the quo, or you're with the quo, and you're doing everything. You can't do that. Live for yourself. Do as much as you can, and you can sleep when you're dead. Just work, get it done. Save your money too. That's probably the biggest thing I can say.
So, are you like mewing ever out here? Do you ever like hit the mew? Like like the
Ever what?
Like the mewing, it's like it builds your jaw structure, so you can like get that chiseled jawline.
No, I don't give a shit about chiseled.
Oh, okay.
No. Nobody in my family's ever had abs or any of that stuff.
No.
And,
You ever play sports as a kid?
Yeah, but I didn't do like team sports. I did, like I skied with the U.S. ski team.
Oh, you were a skier on the U.S. ski team?
Oh, no, I wasn't on the team, but I used to race them and I'd beat them. And they kept telling me to quit smoking pot and cut my hair. And, I just, no way. I'm going to get high every day and do it. But I was blowing the doors off. Like the Mayer brothers, I used to eat those guys up.
What are like the most common drugs people are doing out here on the streets right now? Fen?
Yeah.
How cheap is it to get fen?
Well, it was really cheap, and then the price has gone up, and it's gotten ridiculous. But a few of the Mexicans have came back from Mexico, and so the prices are going down, and the quality's better. But yeah, it's mostly just all fentanyl and methamphetamine.
Meth and fen.
Yeah, and meth is really cheap right now.
A lot of overdoses on fen because of how strong it is. So
we've lost a lot of people, and they changed it back. Everything was legal, and then September 1st they made everything illegal again. So now they're arresting everybody and throwing them in jail or rehab, and it's a mess. I kind of saw that coming, though. I knew that that's what they were going to do. What did you think about it, man? What did you think they were going to do?
I don't know.
I don't know what the answer is, but I know a lot of people have lost loved ones, and a lot of parents have lost their kids, and if I had lost my son to it, I would have been pissed. And I'm all for the being illegal again, because it took all the fun out of it. Like when heroin was illegal, it was cool because we could just dump into a corner somewhere or a doorbell or whatever, do a quick shot, and then, get back out with the world and be all just hammered, and having a good time and stuff. Well, now, once they legalized it, now there's just needles everywhere. Well, not so much anymore since the fentanyl have taken over, but there was a lot of needles everywhere, and I hate to see a little kid pick up a needle because kids are curious. They're going to pick it up and look at it. I hate to see some little kid get AIDS or some crap because somebody was too damn lazy to throw it in the trash. But yeah, there's a lot of drugs out here.
What are some like the worst like fights or like shit that's gone down on the street?
Fights?
Or just anything like crazy, like fucking gnarly shit.
There's a lot of fights over stupid shit.
Any like shootings, any
every day.
And you've witnessed this firsthand?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, just seeing people die?
Well, it's part of life, but it's over stupid shit, and it just irritates me. A lot of these people shouldn't have guns. They can't even tie their shoe, but they've got a gun. Yeah, it's not good. I've seen people get the crap beat out of them by like 5-6 guys at once, one guy, which isn't real fair. I've seen guys beat the crap out of women. It's ridiculous. This guy right here, he's guilty of a lot of it.
Whatever you're recording, I have a YouTube channel called David Mitchell and the X profile.
XX videos?
No, X profile. X.
My bad.
Twitter, the old Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the 120 characters, right? And it's 2 minutes and 20-second videos. So if you go on X, like the old school X, if you have it without a paid features, right? It's the original Twitter, right?
Oh, you got original Twitter videos. That's
so
sick, bro.
Yeah. So because it's original. Well, Twitter didn't have videos in the beginning. Twitter was built on the platform of text messaging, and so that's why there's 120 characters, because there's 10 characters left over, or 20 or 30 or whatever, because it takes that extra amount of characters to send the information.
Yeah. What type of tattoos you got?
That's my mom and my grandma.
Okay.
And my mom, this side, was adopted by my grandmama. And so my grandmama is not black, but I say that she is black because I get really mad about, because I have cousins. My aunt had kids with a guy who's a Mexican from Arizona, and my cousins are black. Are Mexican. And he has a kid, one of his kids, that he has a kid with this lady, and that one of her kids is black, but she had it with another guy.
Okay.
But my uncle is the type of, OG type guy that will take in any kid, and anybody that's his family is his family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So during all this stuff, I know that there's a God named God Almighty. And God Almighty is the space. The God particle, the Higgs boson, have you heard of it?
Yeah.
So that thing is conscious, and it's God Almighty. But anyway, so everything's revealed from God Almighty. So, but he had so my uncle had a kid, another kid he took in from a woman that he had kids with that was black. And so God Almighty revealed to me about my last name is McFarland. And my DNA is on 23andMe and all that stuff, right?
So you're black?
Well,
you feel black, but you're white, but you feel...
I identify as an American minority.
American minority, so...
Minority, but the blacks in America are known as the minorities, but a minority is different than this race, because a minority is what they call socioeconomic. It's an economic class of people that are subservient to other people.
Oh, okay. So
the minorities.
How has life been as a minority?
People.
How has that affected you living life?
I did 26 years of my life locked up.
Really? You were in jail for 26 years?
Yeah, I did 18 years in federal prison, and I did about 3.5 years to 4 years in juvenile.
Wow, you got to tell me about how'd you get locked up and what prison was like.
In the county jail. Well, you see the tattoos, right? I was a gangster in there, and I was crazy and all this type of stuff. But I know that I was put there and I was trained by God Almighty. You know what I mean? So people say God. Everything in the English language is an acronym. So God stands for Guardian of Domain. America, you guys are going to like this, stands for all members, every race, in culture also. We're all one nation.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for exciting on that.
Yeah, nobody knows that today except for, nobody on this planet knows it. But so if there are primates on this planet that speak English, it is because all of the chances that they found, every star has at least one planet around it, they said.
Spending 26 years in prison, what kind of...
So, well, hold on. Just let me finish this sentence and then you can go to that.
Uh-huh.
It is statistically impossible that we are the only planet that has primates on it that speak English. Statistically impossible. Now, the
prison. How'd you get locked up? 26 years. What crime did you cause to go to jail for that long?
When I was a kid, I just acted crazy. When I was a kid, I was on drugs, and I cooked meth, and I did a bunch of crazy shit here in Oregon. And I went to juvenile prison, and then when I was 18, I did a year in the county jail for a whole bunch of cases, and I took a case from my brother. And then I was out for like 2 months, 3 months, and I did like a month in jail of that 3 months I was out for. So I was out for like 2 months. And then I went and tried to buy a gun in a pawn shop, and these people tried to give me 180 months mandatory minimum up to life sentence, and I was only 19 and I had never been to prison, and it's called armed career criminal. And if I had got busted for that today, if a 19-year-old kid gets busted today with the same priors that I had, they wouldn't go to prison for 15 to life. But because at that time that's the way the laws were, I had to take a plea bargain, and my grandma bought me an attorney, and I had to take a plea bargain for 96 months for 8 whole years. When I was 19 years old, I had to go to federal prison for 8 years for trying to buy a gun in a pawn shop. They said I was in possession of it because I picked it up.
Wow.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. So the same attorney my mom got me, so when I got out, I was out for 16 months. I didn't do any methamphetamine at all. I only smoked weed, and I robbed 6 banks. I robbed 5. I had a co-defendant rob 1. I robbed 4 of them at gunpoint, and my co-defendant robbed 1 at gunpoint. So I got a 22-year sentence, and then I got released after 9 years. And that was 9 years ago, in 2016, December. And since then, I haven't stolen a candy bar. I haven't done anything. I played around with drugs a little bit, so I didn't do meth for 20 years because I didn't do it when I was out. When I robbed the banks, I didn't do meth for 20 years. and then I played around a little bit, having sex on the weekends and stuff like that,
sex.
right?
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. I like
it's
sex,
It's
yeah.
a sex drug. That's what it is. And so these people that are high on it every day, it's like, hold on a minute, buddy. Are you serious? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something to do when you're gonna go have sex on the weekend, or maybe so when I was making drugs in the 90s, I knew people that they did drugs every day and they went to work. And they did meth every day. I knew people now even that they did a shot of meth every morning and they went to work all day, and then they came home, got drunk and went to sleep, and then did it the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if they want to do that and kill themselves, we should make it legal, because the way that this society is going now, we have the people who have, I don't want to talk about morality necessarily, but we have people who have a different moral value system that have so much money. So I did time in federal prison, and I met guys from Texas, and there are drug cartels down there. And these guys have so much money that they have houses full of money that they lose money every year and every month to rodent infestation, because that's how much money they have. The whole house is just full of money. And so they buy people, and that's why people get kidnapped. Because check it out, if you're a drug lord and all you do is walk around your rose garden all day, or walk around your garden all day getting drunk or getting high or whatever, and you want to have sex all day, but you couldn't go out in the world and get this kind of girl, that kind of girl, that kind of girl, you know what I mean, white, Asian, black, whatever. And so they buy them. And they buy them real young and they train them.
So there's human trafficking, and then they turn these people into prostitutes, and they.
No. They turn them into their wives. You know what I mean? They're
Oh, okay.
slaves. But they turn them into. Well, what? Just imagine this.
They just use them for
Imagine
sex.
The amount of psychology that you would come into knowing when you had all day to just think about selling drugs, and you were selling drugs, and you had so much money that then you're basically retired, hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars, like Pablo, right?
Yeah.
All those guys, there's a whole bunch of them alive today. And so what would you want to do with your time? And so one of them is psychology, and one of them is that you would buy people, and you could make whole towns full of people that loved you that were fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could do all kind of crazy shit.
Okay, I want to hear some crazy jail stories. I want to hear some of the gnarly shit that goes down. Is it true?
Stabbings, all this, that type of stuff.
Stabbing. Is it true if you drop the soap in the shower? Like,
No,
that's a myth, right?
Yeah, nobody gets raped either. No, only people that get raped are people that are, they call them punks, homosexual, but not a homosexual, not a punk, transsexual.
Oh yeah.
They're what's called a punk. And they, in the feds, or a gump. And they, if they want to not be a homosexual or a faggot anymore, or whatever you want to call it, because I identify as alternatively sexual. I identify as queer.
What does that mean?
That means that I don't discriminate between people in their sexuality. So if it's a guy, a girl, or transsexual, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's a person.
So you'd hit anything? Like, you like any type of person?
Not
Like,
that I would hit anything.
you wouldn't hit anything?
No, I'm
Like,
in
no-
love
no
with one
furries?
person right
Uh-huh,
now.
okay.
Only in the place where I live, there's someone there that I'm in love with.
That's good.
But other than that, I haven't even talked to him. Maybe once or twice, hello, going by. But I know that's the person that God Almighty made for me. So other than that, though, yeah, I wouldn't discriminate against having sex with someone who was whatever, right? So
Yeah.
I went on dates before on Grindr and shit, right? And in that world, I mean, look at me. I'm a fucking, what do I always say? What's the chick?
You got some badass tattoos?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm tattoos and I'm ripped up, right? And at that time, right now I'm 150 pounds. At that time I was 175.
Oh,
and
shit.
so I'm ripped with tattoos. Not a role model. What is the other?
Model?
No, a model. What are the models' names? A supermodel.
Supermodel.
I'm a supermodel in the alternatively sexual world. So I went on a few dates with transsexuals that passed themselves off as guys because I was gay at that time, right? Only gay. I would only fuck with guys, really. But I ended up having sex with them. But they were chicks, and they were fucking looked like dudes. I was like, oh, you little bitch, you got me. You know what I mean? We were halfway through the date. This morning, the motherfucker had a goatee and everything.
That's
And-
funny.
Oh, it was funny as hell.
So, like, when you were, like, about to, like, hit and, like, you found out there were chicks, like, were you happy or, like, sad, or you're just like,
Fuck it.
you just, just like,
Yeah, I don't like
hey,
that.
hey, I want to hear.
It was weird because they had hair all up their legs. You know what I mean? The one.
What's the craziest sexual experience, freaky stuff? What's some freaky stuff you done, sexual wise?
No, I mean, it's always having sex in prison. You know what I mean? I had sex in prison. That whole I did 8 years and I did 9 more years, and I probably had sex in those 2 times with like 8 guys and 8 different guys, and I always knew that I was like had something up with me, like being, you know, what I mean, homosexual or gay or whatever you want to call it, and only though in there did I do it, but in there the whole time I'm a gangster, and I kept packing knives, and everybody packs knives, and we're all gangsters, and nobody knows that we are fucking homosexuals, and we never fuck with no trannies or none of that, right? Transsexuals.
Yeah.
I maybe shouldn't call them trannies. Maybe I don't like that word anymore.
Yeah, I don't really fuck with that either.
Fuck
It's
that
like
word?
No. Like the trannies. Like I don't really know much.
Well, in there, I always thought that all of them, and anybody who's openly homosexual, because there are a few openly homosexual dudes who aren't punks, you know what I mean? Because a punk is someone who you can just tell whatever to, you know what I mean? Kind of. But also there are trannies in there, transsexual motherfuckers, especially like from Washington D.C., black guys. There's a black dude named Chocolate that is like 6'5", that is a motherfucking gangster that has stabbed people, beats people down, and all that. So in the federal system, when you are a punk or a gump or a tranny, and you are in one of the prisons I was in always in the high security prisons. All those ones are gangsters, and they all pack knives. But I never had sex with any of them. You know what I mean? It was always when, you know, I don't really like to about, but it was always behind closed doors, me and another dude, and then nobody knew, and we were all gangster. You know what I mean? And pack knives and would stab a motherfucker, kill a motherfucker, beat a motherfucker down, all that talk shit to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's how I did my whole sentence. Even when I went back, I did my second 9 years. I was in a gang, and I prospected for another gang, and I quit all that when I went back. And oh man, what's up? Yeah, pretty good. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Let's switch it up a little bit. Are you popping? What is that? A Zen snooze?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I don't
nicotine
smoke.
pouches, right?
Yeah. That way I don't third-hand smoke.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna switch up the question real quick. Now that you're out of prison, right? You got a long life ahead of you. What are some of your dreams and aspirations? What do you look forward to doing?
To be a land developer and a community developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that?
Well, but that's beginning. Part of it, I also want to be a DNA developer and an RNA developer of, do you know what CRISPR-9 is?
Yeah, so you can gene.
I want to use CRISPR-9 to develop new plants. And I want to make dab out of, so I believe that this country needs a constitutional Congress in order to change the Constitution in order to make drugs legal so that we can end the drug war and we can let people out of prison and we can take them people and put them out here in society and let them work. You know what I mean? We need a lot of workers in society. We need a lot of housing. We need a lot of everything. And there's another technology. You guys are up on everything, so you guys know about the Neuralink. So the Neuralink technology would allow us to let people out of prison and put a brain implant in them. And hey, check it out. You got a life sentence. You've been in prison for 20 years, and you ain't got no trouble for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You know what I mean? And we know you turned your life around, and hey, we're gonna give you a brain implant, and we're gonna let you out on the street, and you're gonna be a guardian of the people, man, and you're gonna be allowed to take care of your family and work, and if you do something wrong, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, I mean that seems fair. So, what does this brain implant control their mind a little bit? What is it just to monitor them? What's the brain implant?
I mean, you would with a brain implant, you could do. So the technology of the Neuralink is that it would allow for a brain to have wireless capabilities to bypass a break in the spine. So if a person is like Christopher Reeves, Superman, the guy that was in the wheelchair, they always wanted to bypass that technology. He was a quadriplegic. He couldn't move his arms or his legs. A paraplegic can't move their arms or their legs. Two, a quadra is four. And so a Neuralink bypasses the break in the spine with a transceiver, and beyond the transceiver is a receiver in the neural pathways, and it picks up the signal like your brain says how to walk, and it goes to this Neuralink, and it shoots the signal out wirelessly, and the receiver picks it up, or maybe it's a transceiver below the brake, as maybe it's a transceiver as well. It picks up the signal and it tells the legs how to walk, and it wires it back into the system, and so then you're able to walk, or the person is able to walk.
Yeah.
That's how it is very first marketed and talked about. That's how Elon Musk first marketed it, right? And said how it's going to work. Then the first guy that got one, I believe he was a paraplegic or quadriplegic. So that technology, though, he talks about a Neuralace. So when I first thought about a Neuralace, I thought a Neuralace was that the technology of a Neuralink would go from being a computer chip to where it would be a liquid that would go through the neural pathways of the brain. But what it is being neural laced is where more than one brain is hooked together. So that, like, if you have a brain implant and I have a brain implant and he has a brain implant, we can lace them, and we are neural laced. Our neurons, our neural pathways of our body, our brain, are laced, and we are hooked together. And so therefore, we can always talk to each other, and we can have wireless capabilities through our brain.
Wow. You seem very knowledgeable about this. Where have you got all this information from? Reading, websites, research?
3 years ago, I learned about a Neuralink. This scar on my neck is, I cut my throat and I tried to kill myself, and I lost 2/3 of the blood in my body. 6 pints of blood. We got 9 or something, and I lost 2/3, they said. I went to the hospital, they gave me 2 pints of blood, I passed out again. I was in there for 5 days, and when I came out, the day before I got out, I got a little scar right here, and a little half moon scar, and a kid in there, a youngster, he was 22, he told me about a Neuralink the day before I got out, and this was right after the pandemic, 2020. And after that, I've only thought about a Neuralink. So for 3 or 4 years, maybe it was 2021, but I think it was 2020. And so for 3 or 4 years, I've been thinking about a Neuralink and the possibilities of it and the evolutions of it. So our history of our societies are the pharaohs and all of the religions, I don't want to call them, they're not myths. All of the legends of different societies that have lived have said that there have been people that were gods that walked the earth, and that there were, so the pharaohs, I want to say first, the pharaohs didn't have their brains. The mummies, when they found the mummies in the tombs of Egypt, yeah, those mummies do not have their brains with them.
So they took their brains out?
They took their brains out. So they said that they whisked them out with a whisk, and they emptied them out through their nose, and that they thought that the heart was where our life really was, right? So our soul in our body is the electricity in our body. When we die, we lose weight, and when we die, we lose electricity out of our body. And electricity is built with magnetism. And there's magnetism everywhere, and God Almighty, the space, gives everything all things, gives all things mass and matter. And so in order for magnetism to be created, there has to be space, and that's God Almighty. But so that's our soul that we lose when we die. It's our electricity out of our body. And the Neuralink solves because I thought of a Neuralace, because if you took someone's brain out of their body with a whisk, and inside their brain they had a mineral that was not a physical brain implant that was a cut out and put in there, but it was something that you took into your body, like a drug, and then it got lodged in your brain, and then it made an antenna, then the next person could grab that out of there and take that into their body and create the same antenna in their brain and communicate with God Almighty, the space, but could communicate with all of the solar systems and all of the planets full of people, because there are planets full of people out there.
What is one of the most traumatic experiences you had to face in your life? Some of the biggest hardships?
I mean, getting all that time in prison, man. Imagine being 19 years old and being told that you got to do 96 months in prison. And you get through halfway through of it, 4 years, and you're just like, there's no way it's only been 4 years, man. This is like forever still.
What'd you do all day in prison?
It worked out. works out and read. In the feds, they don't have TVs in the cell, so everybody in there reads, and we listen to AM radio. And so, like, everybody is up on politics. So they sell MP3 players, and they have in 2010 or so, they started selling MP3 players, and they started having where you could read and write emails for 5 cents a minute. So everybody in there can fucking type, can read and write emails, and everybody in there is up on music.
What drugs were going on in prison at that time?
In federal prison, they don't have a lot of drugs because it's real locked down. So in the visit room and everything, they give people a lot of time for bringing in drugs. And so in there, they start sending in drugs through the mail, and now they copy your mail. They don't even give you your mail anymore. But they have fake weed. So I only smoke weed and drink. I do dab. You know what I mean? I smoke dab. Matter of fact, I have a dab pen on me. But another question. I don't want to.
Okay.
And I don't want to say the word.
Yeah. Okay. I think.
You guys know about that.
You got any questions?
If you were to go back in time and talk to your 19 or 20-year-old self, what would you say?
Yeah. So if you were to go back in time and talk to your 19, 20-year-old self, your younger self, what advice would you give to the youth, to yourself, just anyone in general?
Seek the truth. Question the truth. ALL-WAYS. Always. Always question the truth, and then question the lies more than the truth, because the lies are easier to believe because we don't have to question them.
Yeah.
Because if someone tells you, oh man, don't believe that, that's a lie, you go, oh yeah, you're right. I ain't got to think about it. There's a book by a guy named Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Fast and Slow. And thinking fast and slow is going into our first and second level thinking. And there's another guy named Malcolm Gladwell, and he writes about the same kind of things. And thinking fast and slow are two different levels of thinking. Where if you look into a room, if you look at these chairs right here and you say, oh yeah, they got 4 legs, they got, it's got a top on it, it's a table. It's got 4 legs, got arms on it, it's a chair. First level thinking. But if these chairs, actually, you look at them and you go, oh, it looks like it only has 3 legs on it. You know what I mean? You got to think about it and look at it deeper. So along with that comes biases and heuristics. So heuristics are learned biases of our experience in life. When we go through life, we learn that life is this way and that way and this way and that way. But for someone who is of a different race, a different age, a different culture, they learn that life is a different way, different way, a different way. And then another person, a different way, different way, different way. Even in the same society, different way, different way, different way. So that's how people can have their own realities, you know what I mean? And their own, you know what I mean? That there are different realities and there are different truths, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would like everybody to know, that when you see all of that, think of it from the other guy's perspective, the other person's perspective, the other intelligence, because we're all intelligences and we are all inherent with biases that are called heuristics. And you look that word up, Heuristics, I think, heuristics, Heuristics, and it is that we learn reality through our experience in life, and that is different for other people.
Oh, awesome. Hey, thank you for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Your name again?
David Mitchell McFarland.
No. Tell me a little about your life. What do you do for work? What's your day-to-day
retired.
look like?
Right now I'm injured, so my knee is messed up. I need surgery on it. So I lost my ID, and I'm trying to replace it, and it's closed now, so I have no way to do it. So it's been frustrating, but all in all, it's a good day. I've been here for a long time, so I know everybody. It's just a lot of people out, so you got to keep your stuff because things get stolen.
Yeah. What are some of the most traumatic experiences you had to face in life?
I lost my sister a few years ago, and so that's been my hardest thing. I missed her a lot, so we were pretty close, and so that's probably the worst thing that's happened to me.
Wow. I'm sorry about that loss. How has that affected you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I think about her a lot. We have children that are about a year apart, and so I miss her now more than ever, and I still think to call her, she's not there. So that's the hardest around her birthday and stuff because she's born around Christmas time, so it gets hard around that time. But,
How have you managed to, overcome? I mean, you can't really overcome a loss like that, but just like learn how to live with it, try to have high spirits, and live a happy life.
I try and do things to make her proud, try and maybe eat some of the things that I know she likes to eat. She loves pizza and she loves cheesecake, so, I try and have those things to remember her and just tell people about her, make sure that we remember her and, just try to live a good life so that I can see her again.
Yeah. What are some of the things you look forward to in the future? What are your goals and aspirations? Like,
I've got a year left to finish my bachelor's, and I'd like to finish it because I feel like I owe it to myself and to my kids to do that. So that's probably the thing that I'm trying to work on.
what are you studying for your bachelor's?
Political science and communications.
Portland.
I went down to U of O and I was lame for a while, but I'll probably finish up online.
Awesome.
We're actually currently U of O students.
Really?
So we do some documenting for the school, and we're trying to put together a film portfolio and prove that we are good at documenting.
You were going to do great. I loved you down there. I wrote for the paper when I was down there, and I loved it. It was great. Eugene is a wonderful place, so I hope you guys do well.
What's your favorite part about yourself?
It takes a lot to really rattle me. I'm a healthcare worker, and you deal with a lot of stress, and so it takes a lot to stress me out and break me down. I can deal with some pretty high stress situations and not break, and not even break a sweat. So I'm pretty good under pressure.
What are some of your biggest regrets in life?
I've struggled, just with keeping myself together. I had some surgeries, and so I had some problems with pain medicine and stuff, and so I regret those things because it made me miss time with my family,
Yeah. How do you feel about this generation and the use of technology and the overuse of screen and TikTok and doom scrolling?
It's terrifying to me. It's exciting, but it's also really scary because I've seen some things that are pretty darn amazing, and these cameras are everywhere and they don't take a break. They watch you and everything that you do, and you can film someone from the time they leave their house until they get back, and every moment of their day is calculated, and that's a little scary.
Yeah. What are some of the least favorite things about yourself or things you need to improve on?
I just like to get my health in order. I want to get a job, and I would like to get a car, so I'm working on those things.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I just wanted to encourage you guys to keep doing it and stay in school, and you're going to be great. You've got your whole life ahead of you right now. I'm 44 years old, and I wish I would have done more when I was your age, so enjoy every moment of it because it goes by so fast. It really does.
Yeah.